The market on the planet Zarkon was loud, crowded, and full of colors that made the eyes ache. Traders from dozens of planets sold strange goods, glowing fruits that floated in midair, tiny creatures that chirped like musical instruments, and machines that could almost think for themselves. The smell of spices mixed with fuel and something faintly metallic, making the air thick and heavy. Among the endless stalls and shouting sellers, one corner was quiet, almost invisible. In that shadowed corner, chained to a thick metal post, sat a young alien girl. Her skin shimmered with a faint silver glow, and her eyes were large and deep, reflecting the market lights like pools of liquid metal. Her hair, long and flowing, fell around her shoulders, and her small hands clutched at the chains, though she did not struggle anymore. She had learned that struggling only brought more pain. For years, she had been here, displayed like an object for buyers to examine. Traders whispered that she was clever and dangerous, that her kind had powers other species could only dream of. But most buyers only saw her as property, a prize to own. The girl, whose name was Lyra, had learned to survive in silence. She watched everything, remembered everything, and waited for a chance that seemed impossible to come. Through the crowd, a human walked. Nathan Cole was not like the other shoppers. His boots were scuffed, his coat dusted with the grit of space travel, and his eyes scanned the market with a careful intelligence. He had traveled across several star systems, trading supplies and rare materials, but something about this market felt... He could sense the tension, the quiet fear hidden beneath the chaos. His gaze fell on Lyra. Something about her made him stop. Perhaps it was the way she did not cry or plead, unlike others he had seen sold in these markets. Perhaps it was the calm in her eyes, the sharp awareness that told him she was not just a scared child. She was more. Nathan moved closer, pretending to examine a nearby stall. He watched her carefully, noticing the way her fingers twitched, as if she were planning something. Other enslaved creatures scurried past her, tiny alien animals with brightly colored fur and eyes full of fear. Lyra spoke to them in whispers, using gestures and soft sounds only they could understand. Nathan realized she was not only intelligent, but capable of leadership. Even in chains, the slavers noticed Nathan's interest. One of them, a tall alien with green scales and 4 arms, hissed at him, "Human, do not waste your time. She is not for you." Nathan smiled slightly. "I didn't say I wanted her," he replied calmly. "I'm just curious." Trader's eyes narrowed. "Curiosity is expensive here, human. You cannot buy what you do not understand." Nathan's hand brushed the edge of a crate filled with glowing metals. "Sometimes understanding is worth more than money," he said, his voice steady. "Sometimes the right choice is better than the easy one." Lyra's eyes flicked toward him. She had never heard a human speak like that before. Most humans she had seen or heard about were brash, careless, or cruel. This one was different. There was a strength in him, not just physical, but something deeper. Something that made her hope flicker, small but real. Nathan studied the girl more closely. He could see the faint marks on her arms and legs from the chains. She had been here a long time, forced to obey, forced to hide her true self. He could feel the weight of her suffering. It stirred something in him, a sense of justice, a need to act. He walked to the slaver, his steps firm but unthreatening. "I'll take her," he said simply. The green-scaled alien laughed, a wet, echoing sound. "You take her. You are one human. You cannot control her, and you cannot pay enough. She is not yours." Nathan placed a small device on the counter. It hummed softly, a shimmering projection forming above it. Numbers and credits flashed more than anyone in this market had ever seen. The trader's jaws dropped. Humans were rare in this region, and wealthy humans were even rarer. They underestimated humans because of their size, their ordinary appearance, and their quiet ways. But Nathan Cole was not ordinary. "This is enough," he said. "Enough to free her." Lyra's eyes widened. She had never seen anyone willingly offer freedom to one of the enslaved. Most buyers only wanted her to entertain, to work, to obey. Nathan's offer was different. It did not come with demands or cruelty. It came with choice. The slaver's claws tapped against the counter. "You are bold, human. But boldness does not always win. He glanced at Lyra. Do you want to go with this human? Lyra remained silent. She had learned long ago not to answer for fear of punishment. But Nathan did not press her. He stepped closer to her, keeping his voice calm. It's your choice, he said. You can come with me. Or you can stay. I will not force you. For the first time in years, Lyra felt a flicker of hope. Slowly, she nodded. The slaver growled, clearly displeased, but he began the process of unchaining her. The heavy metal links fell to the ground with loud clanks, and Lyra rubbed her wrists, testing her freedom. She kept her eyes on Nathan, who gave her a small, encouraging nod. Once free, Lyra hesitated. Her mind raced. She had been trapped for so long, had learned to trust no one. But Nathan's calm demeanor, his courage in facing the slaver alone, convinced her that he might be different. She stepped closer, her small frame moving carefully, ready to leave the market behind. As they walked away, Nathan kept his hand near a small weapon at his belt, just in case. Pirates and bounty hunters often followed human travelers in this region, hoping to steal valuables or enslaved aliens. But Nathan was prepared. He had faced dangers before, and he knew that courage often outweighed sheer strength. Lyra kept close to him, her eyes scanning the market one last time. She noticed other enslaved creatures, other victims of cruelty, and felt a pang of sorrow. She wanted to help them someday, but first, she had to survive first. She had to learn what it meant to be free. The streets outside the market were chaotic, filled with flying vehicles and beings of every shape and size. Nathan guided her carefully, avoiding areas that seemed dangerous. Lyra's movements were cautious but swift, showing the agility and awareness of someone who had lived in chains for years. Along the way, Nathan began to ask questions, gently, about her life. She was hesitant at first, giving only short answers. But he did not push. He understood that trust took time. Slowly, Lyra began to speak, telling him small things about the stars she had seen from her cage, about creatures she had befriended, about the moments of silence that had kept her sane. Nathan listened. And for each story, he felt more determined. He realized that humans had something unique, the ability to act when others would do nothing, the ability to see hope where it seemed impossible, and the courage to face danger for the sake of others. By the time they reached the outskirts of the market, the sun was setting, painting the sky in colors that Lyra had never seen. She paused, looking at the horizon, feeling the warmth of freedom on her face for the first time. Nathan watched her quietly, knowing that this was just the beginning of their journey. Night would bring dangerous pirates, bounty hunters, and the unknown challenges of space travel. But Lyra no longer felt the crushing weight of chains, and Nathan knew that together. Their strengths, human courage, and alien intelligence could overcome whatever the galaxy threw at them. As they stepped into the shuttle that would carry them away from the market, Lyra finally spoke a full sentence. "Thank you," she said, her voice soft but filled with meaning. Nathan nodded, smiling slightly. "No," he replied. "Thank you. You reminded me why humans are worth believing in." The shuttle lifted off, rising above the glowing city of the market. The stars stretched out before them, vast and full of possibilities. The galaxy was dangerous, yes, but it was also full of hope, and for the first time in years, Lyra felt that she belonged to something bigger than chains and shadows. The shuttle hummed quietly as it cut through the night sky above Zarkon. Inside, the cabin was dim, lit only by soft blue panels. Lyra sat near the viewport, her silver eyes reflecting the stars that stretched endlessly beyond the glass. She had never flown like this before. The feeling of moving freely, of controlling her own direction in life, was foreign and thrilling. Nathan sat across from her, checking the shuttle controls and quietly observing her. He noticed the way her hands clenched and unclenched, her eyes darting to every shadow. Years in chains had taught her to expect danger at every turn. He understood this instinct, and he respected it. "You're safe here," Nathan said, his voice calm. "No one can take you back now. Not from me." Lyra hesitated, then nodded. She didn't speak immediately. Trust was a fragile thing. Instead, she studied him, watching for any sign of deception. But Nathan's movements were steady, his attention focused on the controls and on her. He was not like the traders she had known. He treated her as a being, not a possession. The shuttle's navigation computer pinged softly. A warning flashed. Unauthorized pursuit detected. Nathan's jaw tightened. "Looks like we have company," he said. He tapped a sequence on the console, diverting the shuttle toward a narrow asteroid belt. Lyra leaned forward, intrigued. "Why there?" she asked. "The rocks will make it hard for anyone following us to keep up," Nathan explained. "Smaller ships can weave through easier. Bigger ships cannot." As they entered the belt, the stars outside shifted rapidly, the shuttle twisting and turning among jagged asteroids. Lyra's body moved instinctively, balancing and adjusting as if she had flown before. Nathan noticed this and raised an eyebrow. "You've flown ships before?" he asked. Lyra shook her head. "No, but I learned quickly to survive. Every movement counts. Every step. Or escape." Nathan smiled faintly. Humans were known for their adaptability, but he realized that it was a trait shared across species. Even in someone who had been enslaved for years, her mind was sharp, her senses keen, and her instincts precise. She was not only smart, she was capable. A sudden flash of light appeared in the viewport. A small, sleek ship had begun to follow them. Its weapons glinted. Nathan's fingers flew across the controls, adjusting shields and firing decoys. Lyra watched intently, leaning closer. "They will not give up," she said quietly. "They want me." Nathan nodded. I know. But humans do not give up easily either. He accelerated through the asteroids, dodging rocks and using the terrain to his advantage. The pursuing ship fired, but their shots ricocheted harmlessly. Lyra felt a surge of excitement and fear at the same time. She had lived under chains for so long. Now she was part of something dangerous but liberating. The chase lasted for hours. Nathan's skills kept them safe, while Lyra's intuition allowed her to predict the enemy ship's maneuvers. At one point, a large asteroid loomed ahead, and Nathan glanced at her. "Think you can help me get past this?" Lyra focused, analyzing the angles and speed. Left thruster, slow by half. Then a sharp turn right at the second rock. They won't follow. Nathan followed her directions precisely. The shuttle swung past the asteroid, and the pursuing ship slammed into a boulder, spinning out of control. Lyra let out a small laugh, the first real sound of joy in years. Nathan chuckled too, shaking his head. "You're good," he said. "Better than some trained pilots I've worked with." Lyra's eyes widened slightly. Compliments were strange to her ears, but they felt warm. For the first time, she felt like more than a prisoner. She felt like a person, capable and valued. The shuttle cleared the asteroid belt and entered the darkness of open space. Nathan plotted a course to a distant planet known for human colonies, a place where escaped aliens could find safety. He glanced at Lyra. "Soon, we will reach a place where you can be free and safe. No chains, no fear." Lyra looked at the stars, her mind racing. Freedom was not just leaving the market, it was learning how to live, how to trust, and how to survive without constant fear. She still remembered the trader's cruelty, the other enslaved creatures, the moments of loneliness. But Nathan's presence gave her hope. During the long journey, Nathan began to teach her about human technology and culture. He explained basic ship mechanics, navigation, and the principles of interstellar travel. Lyra absorbed everything quickly, asking questions and testing systems. Her curiosity reminded Nathan why humans often succeeded where others failed. Intelligence, adaptability, and persistence, qualities that Lyra embodied in spades. At one point, Lyra turned to him. "Why do you help me?" Other humans would not care. Nathan leaned back, considering. "Because it's the right thing to do. Humans are not perfect, but we try. We stand for others, even when it's dangerous or inconvenient. You are worth saving because no one deserves to be treated like property." Lyra studied him, processing his words. In her years of captivity, no one had ever spoken with such honesty or conviction. She began to understand something crucial. Humans had courage beyond what could be measured by strength or weapons. Courage that could change the course of events. The next challenge came sooner than expected. Sensors detected a small fleet of bounty hunters closing in. Nathan adjusted their route, taking them through an unstable asteroid field. Lyra's mind raced. She suggested patterns and maneuvers the enemy might not anticipate. Together, they coordinated the shuttle's movements, blending human skill with alien intuition. The bounty hunters fired relentlessly, but Nathan and Lyra worked in perfect sync. Shields flared, engines roared, and small weapons launched from the shuttle to disrupt the pursuers. Lyra's quick thinking saved them multiple times. Nathan was impressed. She had not just survived years of captivity. She had learned to strategize, predict, and act under pressure. Finally, the hunters gave up, unable to keep up with their combined tactics. The shuttle entered a safe zone near the human colony planet, and Nathan allowed himself a sigh of relief. Lyra looked at him, a mix of admiration and gratitude in her eyes. "We survived," she said softly. Nathan smiled. "Yes, and we will keep surviving. Together." As they approached the colony, Nathan explained what life would be like there. It was a small settlement, hidden on a lush, forested planet. Humans lived in simple but functional buildings, growing food, maintaining technology, and protecting each other. Aliens who had escaped slavery or danger found refuge there. Nathan told Lyra she would be safe, that she could learn, and that she could help others if she wished. Lyra felt a strange warmth in her chest. Safety, freedom, and respect were things she had only dreamed of. Now they were real. She still remembered the chains and the market, but those memories no longer defined her. For the first time, she imagined a future where she was more than a captive, where she could think, act, and live as she chose. Nathan guided the shuttle down to the colony's landing area. Small humans and aliens alike greeted them with cautious curiosity. Nathan introduced Lyra carefully, explaining her situation. Some were wary at first, but her calm demeanor, intelligence, and abilities quickly won them over. They recognized that she could contribute to their community not as property, but as an equal. Lyra stepped off the shuttle, feeling the soft grass beneath her feet for the first time. She inhaled deeply, the air rich with life and possibility. Nathan stood beside her, watching her reactions. "This is your new beginning," he said. "No chains. No market. Just a place to be yourself." Lyra nodded, finally smiling. It was a small smile, but it held years of hope and courage. She realized that she had escaped the market. But more importantly, she had found someone who believed in her, in a place where humans and aliens could work together. The stars above the colony shone bright, promising adventures and challenges ahead. Lyra was free now, and she knew that with Nathan's guidance and human ingenuity, she could face anything. For the first time in her life, she felt not fear, but possibility. The colony planet lay quiet beneath a canopy of tall green trees. Soft light filtered through the thick leaves, illuminating the small buildings and paths that wound through the forest. Nathan guided the shuttle down to the landing area, where humans and a few aliens waited. The moment the ramp touched the ground, Lyra's silver eyes widened at the sight. The place felt alive, different from the cramped market, the cold metal chains, and the endless shouting. "You'll be safe here," Nathan said gently, helping her down. "No one can touch you without permission, and no one will." Lyra stepped onto the soft grass, her small feet sinking slightly. She bent down to touch it, as if grounding herself in reality. The smell of fresh plants, earth, and the faint hum of machines created a sense of calm she had never known. "It's different," she whispered. "I didn't think places like this existed." Nathan smiled. "Humans build places like this for those who need help. We're not perfect, but we try to make things better." As they walked into the colony, Lyra noticed humans and aliens working together. Some carried supplies, others tended to gardens or repaired machinery. Everyone seemed busy, but the way they looked at each other showed trust and respect. She had never seen anything like it before. One of the colony's leaders, a woman named Mara, stepped forward. "Nathan, you brought her?" she asked, scanning Lyra with curiosity. "Yes," Nathan said. "She's safe now. Her name is Lyra." Mara studied Lyra carefully. "She's not just any alien," she said quietly. "Her kind is rare, known for intelligence and unique abilities. We must be careful and help her adjust." Lyra felt her heart tighten. For the first time, someone spoke to her as a person, not a commodity. Nathan noticed her expression and placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "She can help herself," he said, "and she will." Over the next few days, Lyra explored the colony. She watched humans repair machines, manage energy systems, and organize the settlement efficiently. Nathan introduced her to basic tools and devices. Though she had never used them before, she learned quickly, adapting with an ease that impressed everyone. Humans in the colony noticed her abilities too. She could anticipate problems before they happened, recognize patterns, and offer solutions that even experienced engineers had not considered. Nathan explained her kind has a gift. We humans have courage. Together, we can do more than we could alone. Lyra began to participate actively in daily tasks. She repaired equipment, helped manage energy grids, and even assisted with navigation simulations for the colony's small scout ships. Her confidence grew, and so did the respect of the colony members. Despite the calm, Nathan knew danger was still near. The market traders would not forget Lyra. The bounty hunters they had evaded would likely regroup and try again. Nathan explained this to her carefully. "You must understand," he said. "Your past is dangerous. But humans can protect you. We think, plan, and act quickly. And now, you're part of that." Lyra listened, feeling both fear and determination. She had spent years surviving alone, and now she had allies, friends, and a chance to learn freedom. But the dangers of space and the cruel slavers were real. She would need to be ready. One evening, while Nathan was repairing a small shuttle, Lyra approached him. "I want to help more," she said. "I can do more than work on machines. I can watch for threats, anticipate problems, maybe even fight if I must." Nathan nodded. "I know, and you will. But first, you need to understand the people you protect, the tools you have, and your own limits." Lyra studied the shuttle beside them. Machines, controls, and panels were unfamiliar, yet her mind quickly absorbed the patterns. "I can learn fast," she said. "Faster than most. Faster than humans," Nathan laughed softly. "Maybe so. But courage isn't just speed or intelligence. It's knowing when to act and when to protect, even if it's hard. That's what makes humans." Humans. Lyra considered his words. She realized that humans had a unique way of combining thought, emotion, and action. It was not brute strength that made them strong. It was cleverness, courage, and persistence. As days passed, Lyra grew more confident. She began training with small tasks and simulations, learning emergency procedures, tactical movements, and defensive strategies. Nathan supervised her, offering guidance but letting her make decisions. She quickly learned how humans used creativity and ingenuity to face challenges, and she began to mirror that in her own style. One afternoon, an alarm sounded. Nathan and Lyra rushed to the perimeter sensors. Small drones used for reconnaissance had detected unidentified ships approaching from beyond the planet's atmosphere. Lyra leaned over the console, scanning the data. "They are fast," she said. "Not like the bounty hunters before, but scouts for a larger group." Nathan's jaw tightened. "We have time to prepare, but not much. Gather the team and ready the defenses. We'll need strategy, not just weapons." Lyra's mind raced. She suggested ways to hide their small ships, use terrain to create traps, and set up early warning systems. Nathan implemented her suggestions, combining them with human technology and tactics. Within hours, the colony was ready. Humans worked together with Lyra, trusting her instincts and planning. When the scouts arrived, they were confused. The colony was nearly invisible from space, thanks to traps, camouflage, and Lyra's calculations. Some ships hesitated, trying to find a weakness. Nathan and the team remained ready, Shields activated, weapons primed. Lyra whispered to Nathan, "They underestimate us. They think humans are weak." "They are wrong," Nathan smiled faintly. "They always underestimate humans. That's why we survive. That's why we win." The scouts retreated after minor skirmishes, realizing the colony was not an easy target. Nathan exhaled, and Lyra felt a thrill. She realized that humans were not only brave, they were clever and capable in ways she had never imagined. Together, they had protected the colony without unnecessary violence. After the attack, the colony celebrated quietly. Lyra was no longer seen as a fragile alien child. She was respected as an ally, a thinker, and a protector. Nathan placed a hand on her shoulder. "You did well," he said, "and this is only the beginning. The galaxy is full of danger, but also opportunity. You're ready to face it." Lyra's silver eyes gleamed. For the first time, she felt she belonged somewhere. She was not chained, not owned, not a prisoner of circumstance. She had freedom, friends, and humans who valued her. More than that, she had a purpose: to protect, to learn, and to grow alongside Nathan in the colony. That night, as the twin moons rose over the forested planet, Lyra gazed at the sky. Stars stretched endlessly, mysterious and full of possibility. She remembered the chains, the market, and the years of captivity. Yet those memories no longer held power over her. They were reminders of strength, survival, and the journey that had brought her to this hidden world. Nathan joined her quietly. "The stars are bigger than they seem," he said softly. "They can be dangerous, but they can also be full of hope." Lyra nodded. "I understand now. Freedom is not just being safe. It is knowing that you can act, think, and live without chains, and I will not waste it." Nathan smiled, seeing the determination in her eyes. He knew the galaxy would continue to test them, that challenges would arise, and that enemies would never give up. But he also knew that humans with courage, intelligence, and teamwork could meet any threat. Together, they walked back to the colony, ready for whatever lay ahead. Lyra had stepped out of chains and into a world where she could grow, learn, and contribute. She had discovered that the true power of humans was not just in their weapons or strength, but in their heart, their mind, and their willingness to stand up for others. The hidden world of the colony became her sanctuary, a place to heal and train and to become something more than what anyone had ever expected. Lyra was no longer a prisoner. She was an ally, a protector, and a bridge between humans and the wider galaxy. And as she looked to the stars, she knew that Nathan was right. The galaxy was full of danger, but also full of hope. And together, they could face it all. The colony lay quiet under the soft light of the twin moons, but the calm was only temporary. Nathan monitored the sensors in the command center, his eyes narrowing. "They're back," he said quietly. The same fleet of bounty hunters who had chased them before had returned, stronger and larger, likely determined to capture Lyra once and for all. Lyra, standing beside him, felt her heart tighten. Years of captivity had taught her to fear pursuit, and the memories of chains haunted her. But she also felt a new kind of strength and courage that Nathan had inspired. The confidence gained from freedom, and the knowledge that she was no longer alone. Nathan quickly called a meeting. Colony leaders, human and alien alike, gathered in the command room. "They will attack soon," Nathan explained. "We cannot match them ship for ship, but we can outthink them, outmaneuver them, and protect our home." Lyra stepped forward, her voice calm but firm. "We can use the terrain, the forest, and the small ships. They expect a direct attack. We can surprise them with strategy." Mara, the colony's leader, nodded slowly. "You are right. Humans and allies have survived because we think, not just fight. Nathan, prepare the defenses. Lyra, coordinate with the teams and set traps." Lyra moved quickly, issuing instructions to human engineers and alien scouts. She showed them how to camouflage the colony's energy sources, how to use the forest to hide smaller vessels, and how to create decoys that would confuse the attackers. Her mind worked like a machine, precise and efficient. blending her alien intuition with strategies learned from humans. Nathan watched her with growing respect. "She's incredible," he said quietly to Mara. "Not just smart, she sees things we might never notice." Mara smiled. "That is why we saved her. Her abilities, combined with human courage, make us strong." As the first ships of the attacking fleet appeared, the colony was ready. They had no intention of surrendering. Humans manned defensive stations, activating shields and weapons. While Lyra directed scouts and small fighter ships into hidden positions, Nathan coordinated the battle from the command center. Using decoys and misdirection to divide the enemy, the attackers were surprised. They had expected an easy target, a simple colony with no real defense. Instead, they were met with traps, hidden weapons, and coordinated countermeasures. Lyra anticipated their moves, predicting patterns in their approach, and relayed the information to Nathan. "Left flank," she said, pointing to a holographic map. "They will try to hit our energy core first, but if we collapse the false tunnels, they will be trapped." Nathan acted immediately, sending a team to execute her plan. The attackers moved into the traps, realizing too late that the humans had outsmarted them. Ships became tangled in force fields and false energy signals, and small fighters struck with precision. Lyra coordinated each move, calm and confident, as if she had been born for this moment. Amid the chaos, Nathan noticed a larger ship trying to bypass their defenses. He and Lyra acted together, a perfect combination of human ingenuity and alien instinct. "Deploy the drones," Nathan ordered. Lyra tapped a sequence on her console. "I'll guide them. They will hit the engines and slow it down without destroying it. We don't need unnecessary destruction." The drones darted through space like a school of fish, striking the ship's engines with precise timing. Sparks flew, and the vessel slowed, giving Nathan's team the chance to disable its weapons. The humans and aliens celebrated silently their strategy had worked as the battle continued. Lyra moved with agility, guiding teams, predicting attacks, and even participating in defensive maneuvers herself. Nathan marveled at her bravery. She was no longer the chained girl from the market. She was a strategist, leader, and a fighter. Finally, after hours of careful maneuvering, the attackers retreated. They had underestimated the courage, creativity, and determination of the humans and their allies. Nathan allowed himself a moment of relief, but he knew the galaxy would always be dangerous. Lyra, standing beside him, breathed deeply. She looked at the stars. Realizing that the courage humans possessed was different from what she had known in her years of captivity. Humans fought not just for survival, but for others, for freedom, and for hope. That was a strength that no weapon could match. The colony gathered to celebrate the victory. But Nathan and Lyra stayed in the command center a little longer. Nathan looked at her and said, "You see now why humans are strong, Lyra? It's not about size or power. It's about courage, thinking, and standing together." Lyra nodded, her silver eyes shining. "I see it. And I understand now why you saved me. Not just because it was right, but because humans believe in action, in protecting others, in hope." Nathan smiled. "Exactly. And you helped. Without your mind and instincts, we might not have succeeded." Lyra felt a warmth in her chest. For the first time, she truly understood teamwork, trust, and courage. She was free, but more than that, she was part of something bigger. Humans were not perfect, but they had qualities that made them remarkable. Courage, ingenuity, and a willingness to act when others would not. Over the next few days, Colony repaired damages from the attack. Lyra assisted in organizing patrols, improving defenses, and teaching humans some of her alien tactics. Nathan noticed how quickly the humans adapted, blending human skill with Lyra's insights. They were growing stronger, and Lyra felt a sense of purpose she had never known. One evening, Nathan and Lyra walked through the forest surrounding the colony. The twin moons cast silver light over the trees, creating long shadows. Lyra paused to touch the bark of a tree, feeling its texture. "It's strange," she said softly. "I used to see life like this only from a distance, behind bars, through chains. Now, I can touch it, move through it, protect it, Nathan nodded. Freedom changes you. But courage is what shapes how you use that freedom. Lyra looked at him thoughtfully. Humans are different. You fight not for yourself alone, but for others. That is not something I saw often in my kind, or in those who captured me. Nathan smiled faintly. That's why we survive. That's why we matter. Strength isn't just muscle, it's heart, mind, and action. And you understand that now. Lyra's eyes glimmered. I understand, and I want to help others too. I want to protect those who cannot protect themselves, like you protected me. Nathan's expression softened. Then you are truly part of us. Not just free, but a protector, a fighter, a friend. The forest around them seemed to shimmer with possibility. Lyra felt a sense of belonging she had never known in the market's shadowed corners. She was no longer chained, no longer silenced, no longer a victim. She was a partner, capable of influencing events and defending others alongside humans who had earned her trust. Later that night, as the colony rested, Nathan reviewed the battle logs. He saw every move, every clever tactic Lyra had suggested, every moment where her insight had saved lives. He realized that the galaxy would continue to challenge them, but humans with courage and creativity could face any threat. And now, Lyra's abilities added a new dimension. Together, they were stronger than anything the attackers could imagine. Lyra, alone under the night sky, thought of the chains she had once worn. They seemed distant now, like a memory from another lifetime. She had endured fear, cruelty, and captivity, but she had also learned resilience, patience, and strategy. Now, she had freedom, allies, and the courage to act, and in Nathan. She had found a human who embodied the qualities she admired most: bravery, intelligence, and the determination to stand for others. He had risked everything to save her, proving that humans could change the course of a life and, perhaps even a galaxy. As the twin moons set, Lyra felt a new resolve. The colony was safe, for now. But the galaxy was vast, full of unknown threats and dangers. She would be ready. She would learn. And she would act alongside humans who had shown her that courage. Thought and heart were more powerful than chains or fear. The galaxy awaited, wide and dangerous, but Lyra no longer feared it. She had freedom, knowledge, allies, and the courage to protect both. And she knew that as long as humans stood with her, no challenge could break them. The colony stirred quietly under the first light of dawn. Birds, or creatures like them, sang softly through the forest canopy. Lyra stood at the edge of the clearing, gazing at the horizon. She had spent her entire life confined, yet now, freedom felt natural. It wasn't just the absence of chains, it was knowing she could act, think, and live for herself. Nathan approached, carrying 2 small cups of warm tea. He handed one to her, smiling. "Morning," he said simply. Lyra accepted the cup, her hand steady. She looked at him, a small smile forming. "Morning," she replied. Her voice had gained strength over the month's calm. Sure, and free from fear. Nathan gestured toward the horizon. "Today we begin the next phase. The colony is stable now, but there's still much to do. We need to expand our defenses, improve our resources, and explore nearby systems. You will help lead some of these missions?" Lyra nodded. "I'm ready. I've learned a lot here, and I want to help others too. If humans can fight for me, I can fight for them." Nathan's eyes softened. "That's what I hoped you'd say. Courage isn't just survival, it's action, protection, and using knowledge to make the right choices." The next days were busy. Lyra trained with the scouts, learning interstellar navigation and strategic planning. She coordinated simulations of attacks, predicting enemy movements, and suggesting improvements to defense systems. Humans adapted quickly to her alien insights, blending them with technology and tactics that had been honed over centuries. One afternoon, Nathan brought her to the command center, showing her a large holographic map of nearby star systems. "There are several settlements nearby that are under threat from traders and bounty hunters," he explained. "We can help them, but it will require planning, courage, and precision." Lyra leaned over the hologram, her eyes scanning the data. "We can create safe routes, diversion systems, and early warning stations," she said. "If we combine my predictions with human strategy, we can protect multiple settlements at once." Nathan nodded, impressed. "Exactly. Humans are adaptable. We use our courage, creativity, and teamwork to do what others cannot. And now, you're part of that." Lyra felt a surge of pride. She remembered the chains, the market, and the fear she had carried for so long. Now, she was valued, trusted, and respected. She realized that the true strength of humans was not just in their weapons, but in their courage, their minds, and their hearts. Weeks passed, and the first mission was ready. A nearby settlement had reported attacks from slaver scouts. Nathan led a team of humans in Lyra's guidance to protect the colony. Small ships, drones, and scouts moved in precise coordination. Lyra's predictions proved invaluable, allowing them to anticipate the enemy's moves and prevent damage without unnecessary confrontation. The settlement was saved with minimal losses. The humans and aliens there looked at Lyra with admiration. She had not only guided them, but inspired them. Nathan stood beside her, pride evident in his eyes. "See what humans can do when they work with courage and intelligence?" he said softly. Lyra nodded. "And together, we can do more than any one species could alone." As they returned to the colony, Lyra noticed something new. She no longer felt like an outsider. Humans and aliens alike treated her as part of the community. She helped teach others, shared her knowledge, and continued to grow stronger. Nathan's guidance had taught her that courage was not just fighting, it was leading, planning, and acting for the greater good. One evening, as the twin moons rose over the colony, Lyra and Nathan walked through the forest. The air was cool, the sounds of nature peaceful. Lyra paused, looking at the shadows cast by the moonlight. "Nathan, I never imagined life could feel like this," she said softly. Nathan smiled. "Most humans and aliens don't realize it until they experience it. Courage, freedom, and hope are powerful. You've endured a lot, but you've come so far." Lyra's silver eyes reflected the moon's. "I want to continue learning, helping, and protecting. I want to make sure no one else suffers as I did." Nathan placed a hand on her shoulder. "Then you are truly part of humanity's story. Not just free, but a protector, a leader, and a symbol of courage. You survived the chains, but now you carry something greater, the chance to make a difference." The months that followed were filled with challenges, but also triumphs. The colony expanded, building new structures, developing more advanced technology, and strengthening alliances with nearby settlements. Lyra guided teams on reconnaissance missions, coordinated defensive strategies, and helped train scouts in both alien and human techniques. Nathan noticed something remarkable. Lyra's presence inspired humans to act with greater courage. Her alien perspective, combined with their ingenuity and determination, created a force that no enemy could easily defeat. The stories of the chained alien girl who now led humans in defense and strategies spread across nearby systems, inspiring hope. One day, news arrived of a large convoy of slavers moving through a distant system. Nathan and Lyra quickly planned a joint mission. Small scout ships, armed with decoys and drones, moved ahead, while larger ships, guided by human ingenuity, prepared to intercept if needed. Lyra's analysis allowed them to anticipate every move, creating an almost invisible web of defense. When the convoy arrived, they were met with surprises at every turn. Mines, holographic decoys, and tactical maneuvers disrupted their advance. The slavers, confident in their past victories, were forced to retreat under careful pressure from humans and Lyra's guidance. Lives were saved, settlements were protected without unnecessary violence. The mission's success brought recognition. Humans and aliens alike celebrated Lyra as a hero, not because she had fought alone, but because she had inspired and guided others. Nathan stood beside her, quietly proud. He knew she had become more than a survivor. She had become a symbol of courage, freedom, and the power of human values combined with alien insight. That night, Lyra sat by the edge of a forest clearing, looking at the stars. She reflected on her journey from chains to freedom, fear to courage, isolation to community. She had learned the value of trust, teamwork, and hope. Nathan had shown her that humans could change lives not only through strength, but through intelligence, action, and compassion. Nathan joined her, sitting quietly. "You've grown far beyond what I imagined," he said softly. "You're more than free, you're a leader, a protector, and a bridge between worlds." Lyra smiled faintly. "I understand now. Courage is not just survival. It's action, planning, protecting, and believing in others. Humans. You showed me that. And I want to carry it forward." Nathan nodded. "And you will. Together we can face whatever the galaxy brings. You are no longer chained. You are free, and your strength will protect others." Lyra felt a warmth in her chest. Freedom was not just the absence of chains, it was the ability to act, learn, protect, and grow. She realized she was no longer defined by captivity, but by courage, knowledge, and the bonds she had built with humans. The colony continued to thrive. Lyra worked alongside humans, training scouts, coordinating defenses, and exploring new systems. Her alien abilities combined with human ingenuity created a force capable of facing any challenge. The galaxy remained vast and dangerous, but Lyra no longer feared it. She had freedom, allies, and a purpose. As the twin moons rose again over the forested colony, Lyra stood tall, looking toward the stars. She remembered the market, the chains, and the years of fear, but those were now part of her past. Her present was filled with courage, knowledge, and freedom. Her future was bright, filled with opportunities to act, protect, and inspire. Nathan stood beside her, watching her gaze the stars. "The galaxy is wide," he said softly, "full of challenges, but also full of hope. And now, you are part of that hope." Lyra turned to him, silver eyes shining. "Then let's make sure that hope reaches every corner of the galaxy." Together, they walked back to the colony, ready for new adventures, new challenges, and a future built on courage, intelligence, and the bonds of trust between humans and aliens. The chained girl was gone, replaced by a protector, a leader, and a symbol of freedom. And for the first time in her life, Lyra truly believed that the galaxy was hers to explore, not as a prisoner, but as a hero guided by the courage and ingenuity of humanity.